Leaders in White County made changes to their funding for flock cameras.
Our Marius Payton has a look at their decision to take back money for this technology.
Flock cameras are officially off the budget for White County Sheriff's Office. Public comment went on for nearly half an hour when commissioners met to discuss the devices just last week. And despite both county leaders and a flock camera advocate trying to clarify what the technology actually does, some people were skeptical about how they would be used.
And I have to say this, for those people that are so worried about the flock cameras, you better be worried about cell phones.
There are already documented cases of Americans being wrongfully detained and even serving jail time because of flock.
Now, the advisor for Flock says they do not do any facial recognition or track anyone outside of what the image of when they pass the device, but the motion to cut funding still passed. While the cameras have been removed from next year's budget, the money that was previously used for other license plate readers through the Sheriff's Department still exists. Let's send it back to you.